All right, Bruce, I'm finishing up the last few here, so you can go ahead and get us started.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. I'm going to turn it over to Coach Rhule for some opening remarks, and then we'll open up the floor for questions.
All right, hey, I appreciate everybody being here today or listening today and covering us. Obviously disappointed at the result yesterday, but proud of the effort. I thought we had a lot of guys who fought, scratched, and clawed to get us back in the game. I think as a team, as we look at that game, I think the stats were pretty much even across the board. So, really comes down to a play here and a play there, and not just that final 4th and 1 play, but a couple different plays. And, we're going to work hard to correct those things. I thought we had some really strong performances by some unsung guys that kept us in the game, and we'll just continue to try to get better and look forward to going to Tampa this week and playing the Buccaneers. But we'll never be okay with losing, but we will always find the positives and the negatives in the game from whether we win or lose. And I think there were a lot of positives we can build on, and we're working hard right now in meetings to correct the negatives.
Hey, Matt, Steve Reed from the AP. What did you think about your defense overall? I know you're starting 3 rookies. It's probably going to be a process. I guess, the Raiders scored on 6 of the first 8 drives. But what did you think about the defense? What do you got to improve in that area?
Well, I think there are several things that we have to improve. I'll start with some of the positives, though. I thought, Rhule Douglas. I mean, he walked into our offices for the first time on Wednesday, and on Sunday he's playing the entire football game and stepped up on 3rd down to make the big stop to get us the ball back to go take the lead before they took the lead back. So I thought there were some guys like Rhule who really stepped up and were some of those unsung heroes that I talked about. We gave up 87 yards rushing in the first half, and I thought the rush defense in the second half was better. Got, about 133 yards, I think, total at the end of the day. So we improved the rush defense. Have to be better, have to get a pass rush. Only 5 pressures, no sacks. A little bit it was kind of the way that they played. I mean, it was really a run, screen, and then play action game. But that's still, we have a lot of good players on the defensive line, and we have to get pressure. And then really I thought 3rd down was the issue. There were a lot of 3rd manageables, and we had a hard time getting off the field, which led to a lot of long drives. So we'll work to improve that. But I was pleased with some of those guys who did step up. Had some first game communication issues that can always get you. I think there might have been between 10 and 12 times where called to play in and wasn't really the defense that we ran. In the first half, we settled down at halftime, found a way to correct that. But some of those kinds of things that you don't want to have happen. It's not okay that they happen, but they did happen. And I thought we grew as the game went on. So I think overall, we'll take this game. We see where we're at. We see the things that we have to improve upon. And the one thing that I liked after the game was a lot of people took responsibility. And I think defensively, when you're playing that many young guys, you don't want them to put everything on their shoulders. So when they hear veterans, when they hear coaches say, hey, it's on me, this was on me, lets them all know that we don't all have to do something crazy. We all just have to get a little bit better.
Hey, Matt, just to clarify on the miscommunication you were talking about on defense, was that a headset deal or was that not knowing terminology? Just more detail on what that means.
It was a headset, and obviously, we've been running the same defenses, so it wasn't really a terminology, just really more headset, and they were going fast, and so I think there was a little bit of panic early on. We told the guys that, hey, they're going to come out, they're going to go tempo the first 15 to 20 plays of the game, just kind of reading the tea leaves, just kind of knowing who they are, and that's exactly what they did. And so I think that sometimes that can lead to a little bit of, guys starting to hurry on defense, guys starting to rush. And there was a little bit of panic, and I think at halftime we kind of were able to settle them down. And they were seeing some unique things. They were seeing, really, if you look at the Raiders, what they did, there was a lot of run, a lot of RPO. It was much more like a college offense than they had done last year. But really just more of the headset and getting the call and getting it out to everybody.
Hey, Matt, Jonathan Alexander here. How much do you think the lack of a pass rush played into some of the longer plays, including the touchdown pass? where Troy Pride was in coverage.
Yeah. I don't know that it was a major. That was really kind of, he took 3 steps. Took 3 steps, hitched and threw it. Troy was in good coverage. We just need him to get, rip the hands out and get the ball out. And you know what? I don't want to give up touchdowns, Jonathan, but those plays are going to happen in a football game. I think the first touchdown, the long, ball across the field, we need some more pass rush there, on that play. I think they threw 20 plays under 10 yards, and they were 20 of 21 or something crazy like that. So a lot of short passes. But obviously those 2 big passes really hurt us. I think it was, they were 20 of 21 for passes under 10 yards for 171 yards. So they got back there. I thought we did a good job at times at deep in coverage, threw the ball underneath, and then guys, kind of made the first guy miss. Our tackling, and I think we all talked about tackling in the first game. Our tackling has to improve. But really that first long play that went down to the 1-yard line, we need more pressure on that play, and we need more pressure in general. And we have the rushers to do it. I think they had us a little off balance with the run game. It's a credit to them, but we've got to improve that as we move forward.
Hey, Matt, this is Miles Simmons. I'm wondering what prompted the switch to doing more of a 3-man front. I think that started happening later, maybe in the fourth quarter. And do you anticipate using more of that as you continue this season?
We thought we had planned to go in and have just sort of a little bit of a wrinkle for the second half. We went to the 3-man front and held them to a field goal. I think one of the big, you guys haven't asked me about this yet, but one of the big things that caused us to get behind in that game obviously was the 2 3-and-outs and then special teams penalties, which gave them the ball at the 50. And, we were able with the 3-man front to hold them to a field goal and then get a stop later. So just trying to give them a different look, try to force them into, the run and perimeter run and then take it away. So that's something that we can always kind of go to, just change up. Brian Burns gives us that, and Marquis Haynes gives us that flexibility to go in and out of it. But that's just something we'll get to here and there. Again, we're kind of figuring out our personnel and who was out there on Sunday. So just as we move forward, what's the best things for those guys?
Hey, Coach, this is Stephen Toronto. I saw a tweet yesterday that your pregame message to the team was to not have a spirit of fear, but a spirit of joy. Can you explain the distinction between the two and why you chose that as your message to the team in particular?
Yeah, that's not what I said in the locker room. And that was something I had said, maybe earlier. We have a bunch of young players, and I want them to go out there and play confidently. I don't want them going out there worried about what can go wrong and all those different things. I want them to go out there and play fearless, and I want them to attack. And I think when you're starting a rookie corner, when your corner goes down and you put his backup in, when you're starting rookie nose tackle, when guys are playing for the first time in this position. I mean, at the end of the day, man, I want them to go play. I want them to play, and I want them to attack, and I want them to play hard. And I mean, that's who we want to be. We want to be a tough, hardworking, competitive group, and we want to try to win as many games as possible. But in the games that we don't win, we want to feel proud of our effort, and we want to feel proud of what we put on tape. And so that's really just what that message was. But that wasn't in the locker room before the game. That was something I had said, earlier.
Hey, Matt, speaking of corner, do you have any update on Dante?
Yeah, I probably won't have any medical updates till Wednesday. I'll put the injury report out then, and they're going to take today and tomorrow, really, and they'll get a bunch of guys looked at.
Hey, Matt, Skylar Callan here with Sports Illustrated. What exactly do you think that Rhule Douglas brings to the table, and were you kind of surprised with how quickly he caught on with things on the defense and made an impact in Week 1?
Not really, because he's a competitor. He's an East Orange kid. He's a West Virginia guy. I mean, he's tough. He's played a lot of football. As we watch the tape on him, you see him making plays, and he's fearless. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for fearless guys that go out there and just love to compete and don't back down from a challenge. And that's who Rhule is. And he loved it out there. You could just see it in his eyes. He wanted to keep playing. He loves playing man-to-man coverage. He loves playing bump and run. I mean, he's a tough guy. He's the kind of guy that I like to coach.
Hey,
And Matt, in regards,
so if I could get more clarification on the headsets, it sounded like you were, if I heard you right, it was not necessarily a technical issue, but an operational getting the play and getting it called issue, or was it technical?
It was a little bit of everything. it was, the guys having a hard time hearing. And so then just, maybe starting to panic a little bit. So it was just a little bit of everything, I'd say.
Did you go to the refs? Because I know sometimes if it's jacked up like that, the idea is to have both sides be non-operational.
No, I just we told our guys on our sideline to get it fixed, and after that we were good.
Matt, in regards to the pass rush or the lack thereof you were mentioning, is that a product of guys not knowing how to play with each other up front this early in the season? You want to see more pressure? Blitz is called. What if you could just more in depth on that?
No, it's just us getting more pressure. To be quite honest, I mean, it's just us hitting pass rush moves and winning one-on-ones, and when we rush past the quarterback, countering back. It's us when the slide comes to us, working back across the face, and us being relentless with the pass rush. A lot of, I think it's like 60% of sacks in the NFL come off of second effort, and so part of that comes down to the coverage. You have to take away the first read. You can't give away easy, quick throws. You have to be able to hit a pass rush move versus play action. And that's why the great ones are great. They instantly react when they see, play action. They recognize that it's not run early, which some of our young players aren't quite there yet. But more important than anything, I want to see us fearlessly rush. And I felt like a lot of times we had guys playing hard. It was not a matter of effort. But, we were pushing the pocket and had our eyes on the quarterback and playing run too long. And we've got to hit some pass rush moves. And if we hit pass rush moves, it'll lead to pressure, it'll lead to sacks. And I thought for the first game, we just quite didn't do a good enough job of that.
Matt, you mentioned. Go ahead, Scott.
Okay, thanks. You mentioned up at the top, Matt, that not just the 4th and 1, that there was a couple of other plays that sort of stuck with you as kind of almost sort of plays that maybe would have changed things. Can you mention what those were?
Yeah, I mean there were five penalties in the second half. We had no penalties in the first half, so we played as clean a game as you could play. Obviously, to come out, you'll hear us talk about the middle eight, the last 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 minutes of the second half. But that's an important time for us to go 3 and out twice because we did not get stopped really in the first half. I think it was 3 drives and 3 scores. So excited to get the ball to because we'd made the decision to defer, and not many people stopped the Raiders on their opening drive. They're usually a really good scripted, and our guys got a 3 and out, got the ball back. So that now tilts things in our favor. We scored going into the half, so really excited to get the ball coming out of the half and start with a penalty. Be backed up, punt it, give up a big punt return. I think a 27-yard punt return. They go down, score, get the ball back again, 3 and out. Give up a sack, punt it, have another penalty for us on special teams. So 2 special teams penalties. So any myriad of those plays, but I'd say those two special teams penalties and those 2 3 and outs really put us, behind the 8 ball. And I'd say on the second down play, on the last drive before the 4th and 1, really had a chance to hit a big play, and just missed a block on the perimeter, left the guy, there for Christian to tackle. I'd say on the drive before that, had him stopped on 3rd down and had the pass interference on Tahir. Just if he and then, again, we're not here to blame any one person, but that was obviously a big play, and that was a heck of a stop. We get the ball back and we're rolling. So I just think, you can look at all of those plays. You can probably look at a bunch more, missed extra point, all those different things, but things that we have to correct. And that's really what we want to do. We want all of us, as you asked me yesterday, I took responsibility for the 4th and 1. I think that's what leaders do. And I want all of our guys to sit there and say, hey, what can I do better? If we have that kind of team, then we'll just get better from here.
It seemed like Christian was on the field for all but 2 of the offensive snaps. Mike Davis was only on there for 3. Was that the plan going in, or was it just rotational based on how the game was going? And were you satisfied with that workload for Christian?
No, I'd like to get Mike Davis more work. Christian still, I think he only had 26 touches, so right about what we thinking he would get, in that, 25 to 28 range. But Mike's a good player. We have to find, more things for him to do. And, that was a unique day in that, only to have 3 drives. And really, I know we had 9, but, last one was at 12 seconds. We had 8 drives. We had three drives in the first half. So I think it felt maybe a little different than it actually was statistically, but I'd like to get Mike in the game more often.
Hey, Matt, David Newton here. When you guys were looking for a quarterback in the offseason, obviously you targeted Teddy. There were some other guys, including Brady, the guy you'll face this week. First, did you ever consider Brady as a guy to target? And second, what did you see in Teddy that made you feel like this is why we got him?
Well, I think, if you watched Teddy operate the offense out there yesterday, ran the ball when he had to, was pretty fearless, got us in the right plays, made checks, was accurate. I think, I don't know, he threw for 270 yards or so. I think at least I walk away saying, okay, I can't wait to see this guy get better and better and better within our offense. And I can't wait to see, the O-line get more, comfortable around him. And I can't wait to see the receivers continue to get to know who he is and, for him to bring us back. And there was no doubt in my mind he was going to go down and win the game for us. So, we're going to have a lot of games come down to the last drive, and I have full credit, full comfortability in who he is and full confidence in his ability to go win games for us. And so, he loves being out there and he loves playing. And that's one of the things that I want from this team. We have a lot of guys with a lot of talent that I want to see go play with confidence. And, a guy like Teddy just brings that out in the people around him.
Hey, Matt, on the topic of Brady, what kind of message will you share with your team this week? Like, clearly the guy's an iconic player, but to your earlier point, I guess you want to respect him and not fear him. Will you kind of like address the elephant in the room right away?
I don't know. I'm just kind of getting started. I had a chance to go back home last night, and obviously, a little bit disappointed from our game. We're very disappointed from our game, and I put that game on, and I have nothing but respect for Tom Brady. How we handle it moving forward, I'll probably take today and tomorrow. I usually try to formulate an opinion in my head about, how to say things and how to do things. But just like, I said last week, to our guys like that, to me, the game against the Raiders was all about us and us playing our best. And I don't feel like we played our best. I hope our guys don't feel like we played our best. So we're going to try to keep playing our best. And, but yeah, in terms of Tom Brady, I'll share nothing but respect for him. But how exactly we say it, I don't know yet.
On that note, though, Josh Graham, Sports Hub Triad, he's been in the league a really long time. Football tends to be a smaller industry than people give it credit for. Have you ever crossed paths with Tom along the way?
I met him at an underarm event when I was maybe the second or third year as the head coach at Temple, and shook his hand briefly. I'm sure he does not remember that. but I do. But that's really it.
Oh, Matt, Miles Simmons again. You mentioned that there were some other unsung heroes, man. I think you mentioned Rhule Douglas and talked about him a little bit, but who are some of the other guys that you thought kept the team in the game?
I thought Farrell Cooper was a huge part of that game. I think he had a 17-yard punt return, a 38-yard kickoff return, another good kickoff return. Did some good things for us on offense. So I thought our return game was really well done, and I thought Farrell was a big part of that. I thought Derek Brown up front versus the run had some dominant plays and really played well. I thought Jeremy Chin did some really good things, but I think Farrell would be someone that I would single out for the impact he made for us in the return game.
Coach Luke Glidden with WFMY. I apologize if you were asked this last night, but considering the odd, tumultuous offseason you guys had, short no preseason games, et cetera, what would you grade yesterday's performance on an A to F scale, and how much maybe optimism do you have moving forward with this squad?
At the end of the day, like, to me, like, you are what your record says you are, so we lost, and that's all that really matters to me. We lost. Now, that being said, I think that there's always truth. There's always truth in winning. There's truth in losing. So I always just try to find the truth in it. And I think there were a lot of good things in the game, and there were a lot of things that we can build on. And most importantly, is like for us to be down 12 and come back and take the lead. I think that speaks a lot to the character of the team. For us to be as young as we are in some spots, and for those guys to be battling, I think it bodes really well for the future. That being said, there's also some other young guys that we're counting on that we need to step up, and we need to hit this thing at full tilt where we're kind of everyone's playing their best football. And so I'm going to keep pushing those guys. But in terms of grading it, to me, either you win or you lose, and we lost. And so what I don't ever want to do is come across to the guys like I'm saying, hey, we lost, but hey, we lost, and that's not good enough. However, there are some good things in the game that we can build off of, and that's what we want to do. That was our first chance to go out there and see ourselves play against another team, and we've got to begin the process of building off of this.
All right, we can take one more question.
Hey, Matt, what did you think about Yator's play? I think we noticed he had about 25% of the snaps versus Stephen Weatherly. What was your assessment of his play?
I thought Yator did some good things. I think he probably should, should play more as we move forward. He's he's big, he's physical, he's talented. I think he probably needs to play a little bit more. And there's no slight on Weatherly or anyone else. We're kind of sliding those guys around, but we need to get him. We need to get him a little bit more. Bruce, I don't care. Right. Bruce, I'm fine to answer anything else.
Okay. All right, no problem, Coach.
Okay, so Matt, I was wondering what it was like for you coaching a game while wearing a mask. So obviously that's something you haven't done before, and if you've heard from the league at all about that.
I won't say if I've heard anything from the league. I don't know what I'm allowed to say and not allowed to say. Yeah, I thought it was awkward for me to, not awkward, but different for me to wear a mask, and be able to talk into the mic, and be heard. So I think next time I'll look and see the shield that Coach Reed wore. I'll see if that maybe works better. Because at the end of the day, communication is really, really important. And as we're trying to communicate things to people in the box in real time, or communicate things to the field, you want to make sure that you can you can be heard. And so I think obviously that's a little bit of a barrier. That being said, I want to be safe above all else. So I'm not diminishing that. I just want to make sure that I look at every option so that I and our staff can be heard the best.
Matt, it's Josh Graham again. What was the strangest part about game day yesterday?
The play with Trenton where he got the penalty on the sideline. He ran into a TV wire, and the TV wire wrapped around him as he was running down the sideline. And then as he ran out in the field, the wire actually hit my son on the sideline, and then hit the guys on defense. The guys on defense were getting upset, and they called a penalty on Trenton for staying out of bounds too long. And I was kind of taken aback by the fact that he ran into a wire, and that had nothing to do with the penalty, but just but yeah, I think that was really, really weird. Just kind of that obviously playing in front of no fans was different. We would have loved to have had the crowd in there, making it really hard for the opponent to hear on third down or something like that.
Hey, Matt, two-part question. And I understand what you said earlier about an injury report, but wondered if you could characterize whether you thought Dante's, the severity of that. And then second part is, did Rhule play himself into more playing time regardless of Dante's situation?
Yeah, and Joe, we were planning on playing Rhule a good bit. We were going to rotate he and Troy some, and so we were planning on playing him. We brought him here to play, so I think all of us feel like moving forward he'll play for us. And I really don't know the severity of Dante's injury. A lot of those things come down to how a guy feels, and so I'll see if he can go Wednesday. I think that'll be the best determinant for whether he can go Sunday or not.
Hey, Matt, JB Ricks with Spectrum News 1. I know when it comes, going back to the fans aspect, I know that Jacksonville, I believe, was the only NFL team that allowed any fans at all in their stadium. There were a few college games that had plenty of fans. You could tell that their guidelines weren't as strict. but obviously with the Panthers game, you didn't see anything at all. Is this something you and maybe fellow coaches or anybody within the National Football League want to change moving forward from a competitive aspect? If there's one team that can have fans, but another team that can't, is this something that you guys will look at moving forward?
I haven't heard anything about that. To me, I personally think that anywhere fans can be, we should have fans there. Obviously, I'd love for there to be fans here and for us to have that, but I also want, this is a game that's built around the fans and for the fans, and so I would not want to say, hey, this one place can't have fans because I can't. To me, our fans deserve the right to come. Like my wife didn't come to the game yesterday, and I would have loved for my wife to be there. I would love for our players' wives and kids to be there. So we're all kind of going through this together. And so, but yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. I'm sure that's above my head, but for me, I would never want to take that, I certainly understand the competitive aspect, but I would never want to take that opportunity away from fans anywhere.
Coach, I was wondering, you mentioned that communicating with the guys up in the box is obviously very important. Do you feel like it worked to have Joe up there yesterday?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think offensively, for us to score 30 points. We had a 10-play drive that resulted in a touchdown, an 11-play drive for a field goal, and a 17-play drive for a touchdown. I really think it just, that beginning of the second half, was really what got us behind the eight ball. But we came back and found a way to take the lead. But I think anytime you have the drives of that length, you're excited with everything that you're doing, and we'd certainly like to find, some explosive plays and not have to, drive 17 plays. But the guys did it. I was proud of them. I thought they showed effort and physicality. I thought our ability to, to be down 2 scores and run the ball to get back in the game. I was really pleased with the offensive line and their ability to do that on that long drive. So.
Matt, Miles Simmons again. It seemed like both at the end of the first half and then maybe toward the end of the second half too, when you guys were driving down, you guys kind of had a deliberate pace to the offense. Was that about making sure that you scored and didn't give the Raiders much time?
Yeah, at the end of the first half, I thought Teddy was masterful. I thought, obviously we called timeouts, got the ball down to 2 seconds and kicked the field goal and took 2 shots at the end zone. Took the first shot and, they knocked it away. The second shot, they doubled Christian. It was a route to Christian that we were going to try to throw. And then Teddy, for Teddy to scramble and look at the clock and get down and call timeout I thought was really well done. And, at the end of the game with 4 minutes left, we believe in our offense. We trust our offense. Saw really no reason to go score and then give the ball back to them. So I just tried to be, methodical with it. Wanted to get the ball down there and try to score within 30 seconds, end the game on offense. And so obviously we didn't convert on 3rd and 4th down. That eliminated that, but I was really pleased with the tempo at the end. And I thought from a game management perspective, I thought the guys did a good job. Really the only thing that hurt us was we called a timeout with 12:39 left in the 4th quarter, and we could have used that timeout at the end to have 3 timeouts to truly get the ball back. But we, the way that game was playing out, we felt like the best thing we could do was put the ball in the offense's hands and let them go win it at the very end.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Coach. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
All right.